Hi everyone, it's Nubian Sun, Ra, back with another video. And today I just wanted to speak on exactly also why it is important to focus on self, right? So this is somewhat of a perception where it's like not focus on yourself as like, be so self-centered to the point where you cannot see anyone else around you because, it's all right to observe and learn through observation, but just not to like consume things like trash that you do not want, you know. That's a skill within itself. But to stay on topic, right? Like focus on yourself as in your healing, your reality that you create for yourself. You focus on these things because whenever you are focused, you are in this constant state of mind to where it's like you won't have to actually think or have discernment into, what is a distraction, what is an illusion, what's what, because you are to the point where you're so focused to where you're like in this zone and you're never like in and out of, creating and then tearing down some of your foundation with like negative thoughts and negative self-talk and, allowing negativity to come in to your circle. So it's like focusing on yourself will help you be able to know at all times that you are secure and you don't have to worry about anything getting you to the point where you just want to give up on whatever you're working on when it comes to yourself. That's how a lot of people, they will get to a certain level of self-awareness and just decide that it's boring or it got too hard or they just don't get it and it just stopped, and sometimes we just need some encouragement or inspiration to help us keep going and stay focused on whatever we're working within us, whatever we're working on within ourselves, because we're the ones that benefit from whatever we work on within ourselves, and we benefit the most. And if there's people you care about and you just want to make a difference in their life, it benefits them too. And even like once you are to the point where you feel like you're like completely healed, even though we are healed, it's like healed and learning is two different things. Like people think whenever you are healed and you have to learn something new that, oh, you must not be as healed as you think you are. No, you are healed. It's just learning that's infinite, So healing is infinite. It's not lack of. It's adding on to, just like age. People be like, oh, I'm in my 30s and 40s, and it's like, oh, I'm old, and it's not, old. It's just adding on to the wisdom of how many times you have awakened within, a 10 lifetime span, because every 10 years or every year or every month, every day for some people, we grow, we all grow. And so at the end of the day, it's like we have to track our growth process. And I shared some tools on how to do that, and whenever we're consistent and dedicated with using the tools that we have to help us get there, we get the results of like what we're looking for, It's consistency, is hard work, and it's like we have to be able to do that for ourselves, because that's the only way that we'll be able to get there. Like a lot of people, they don't want to do it. They want to take from someone who's already have been doing it or have done it, and that's a concept that's never really good to use, because nothing good comes quick unless it's like a person, bettering themselves spiritually and, moving quick in the spiritual realm is a good thing, So it's like being able to learn yourself and what you need to be able to heal is self-love, is self-care, And when we're self-loving and self-caring ourselves, we don't have time to hate, So it make you happy to the point where you don't feel like you gotta hate on nobody. It's like when we see older women that's grumpy and we be like, oh, you need to get laid, And you think like that's gonna make her happier to stop, growling at everybody else, and a lot of times that's be what it is, We need our own pleasure, and pleasure comes in different forms, and self-love and confidence and knowing thyself and all these things that help you become mentally, physically, spiritually, soulfully strong, and help our connection with the divine, that's self-love. And that's ensuring that you show that love to things, people, places, and things outside of yourself, with discernment, of course. And just like, it'll make a difference within the world, because hate is when people actually grieve and mourn, because that's the epitome of what people will call evil, pain, suffering, and people rejoice when they're happy, when people laugh whenever they're crying out of joy, whenever we give birth, whenever we eat, whenever we're celebrating something, it's always soulful, it's heartwarming, So it's how the difference is in how it feels, And you have to be able to have worked on yourself and your traumas and your mental conflicts through like from traumas and stuff like that, so you can be able to get to your happy self, so you can enjoy the most out of life, because life has so much to offer, and it's there for free, and it's free in a way to where we make the choice. Not free as in of consequences because everything has its consequences. You know, it'd be a crazy ride for both sides. But at the end of the day, it's like it's free in choice. You know, you have a choice to whether you want to do it or not. And then once you do, you reap rewards, not only just consequences. People always talk about consequences. You reap the rewards, you know, the same rewards everybody be setting their eyes on, you know, but always talk about the consequences, you know, stuff like that. But like, excuse me, just being able to like focus on yourself and just like help yourself and the people around you and like passing on what you know to the youth so they can be able to teach their youth. And this knowledge is what we call generational wealth. Like I said in another one of my videos, like all the soulful things about family and love, you know, that stuff that anybody want to feel. I don't care who you are, you know. And we know that because even wicked people complain about wicked stuff that's done to them. They complain about it. Like, they be robbing, stealing, killing, and be mad when somebody do it to them. Like, that's common sense, you know. Everybody knows this, but it's like not accepted by everyone. And that's fine. And that's one thing that self-love will teach you. You don't have to be accepted by everyone. You know, you accept yourself. You know yourself, you know. Once you know and love yourself, it's like a different level of healing that religion cannot teach you, you know, because it's within, you know. They talk about a relationship, but spirituality talk about thyself, you know, because we're not even separating our lower and higher self. We are bringing them together as one, you know. So it's like a perception. It's different perceptions. It's like just the way we associate ourselves and knowing ourselves and loving ourselves from exactly what's happening outside of us. Like, you don't need things outside of you to tell you who you are, show you who you are, you know. It depends on, you know, how much remembrance and how much we come here with, because some people, they don't have to go through that phase. They already come here like knowing all of that, you know, and they're having to figure out other things. It might even be so simple, you know, but everybody has their own level. You know, sometimes you can start on, you can have like level 98 through 150 and still have to come back down to like level 3 because it's like you just didn't grab something. Just like school. Like a lot of times we think that we're going to 8th grade. In 8th grade, we get the same work that we had in 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And you might have thought you forgot about that stuff. So it's like you getting taught it all over again. It just look a little different, you know? But it's like we go outside of ourselves, and when we do that, it's like we have all these separations to the point where we pick and choose. You know, what we want, what we don't want. Like if you separate in something, you can not say like, okay, it's all just the same thing. They don't do that. They separate it for real, you know? And it's like that's how we make mistakes, separating things. Because then once we separate something, it's like we don't look at it as the same. And so that means, we treat it differently. I don't want to go too deep, but I'm going to go a little deep into this. Like what that story with Jesus, they said that he wanted to be God, or they thought of him like he wanted to be God. And so they praised him, and he was just a messenger, But the thing about Jesus was they said he was the Son of God, and they said that we are made in God's image. If you're the Son of God, that means you look just like him. So that means you are a God on earth. Jesus was a God on earth. God on earth. He was God on earth. He was just a vessel. But they didn't respect the vessel. They was infuriated. They felt inferior. So they felt like they wanted to get rid of him, not realizing it's the same thing. It's the same thing. They don't realize that because they can't possibly grasp the perception of somebody that's human, supposedly have all this God power, they say supposedly, but yeah, God power, and you don't look down on people and want to be better than people, and that's not how things is looked at it. When you're a righteous person, you look at it as how God looked at it. You're not gonna do as what other people do and what is the norm, And that's suspicious to a lot of people. They don't understand that because they're like, hold up, like how? They don't feel like it's possible. Only because it's a projection. It's not possible for you at this point because you have not did that work. You're not that type of person. I hope everyone is drinking their water, grounding yourself, saying your affirmations, meditating, staying balanced, and loving yourself. Peace and love.